Hello everyone and welcome to another TGN World of Warcraft video with Rurikhan. So today we're going to be talking specs. A lot of people have been asking me about my spec, and even though you can check it online at the Armory, I figured I might as well just do a whole video about specs and glyphs that I'm currently using on my Paladin. My spec is probably different from Tali's. I haven't really checked his out, but it's also because we spec for different things. Tali is currently spec'd for raid tanking. I'm spec'd for heroic tanking because I don't usually tank raids on this character. As you probably know, I usually do holy for raids, so I'm usually healing for raids, so yeah. So in the first line, I have 2 out of 3 in Divinity, and if you're a raid tank, you really want to have 3 out of 3 in Divinity because it's a pretty good talent, which will increase healing effects by me and on me by 4%. Now, the reason why I have 2 out of 2 in Divinity is because, well, there's a whole bunch of factors, but basically it's because in the overall balance of talents, I only had 2 points left to put in Divinity. I obviously have Seals of the Pure, which increases the damage done by Seal of Righteousness, Seal of Truth, and Seal of Justice, even though it really only matters for Seal of Truth. I'm basically trying to squeeze as much damage as possible out of this Paladin, because the whole thing is that I'm usually tanking for people that are raid geared, as in epic gear, where I'm basically just heroic geared, and it's a pain in the ass to keep aggro from them, because they're all like way above me in regards to item level for DPS, whereas I'm very low in the tanking item level. So yeah, so also if you notice, I'm actually using the PvP mace to get more damage and the PvP shield because, well, also to get more damage. I'm trying to squeeze damage wherever I can to keep threat. So yeah, I got 2 out of 3 in Divinity, 2 out of 2 in Seals of the Pure, 1 out of 2 in Eternal Glory, which is the talent that basically gives you a chance that your Word of Glory doesn't consume Holy Power. This is pretty useful when I'm doing randoms and I get a slacking healer. So basically, whenever it procs, it's pretty damn useful because I can keep myself alive a lot longer even without the healer. Judgments of the Just, which works like the Warrior's Thunderclap, basically reduces the melee and range attack speed of my target. Which you obviously always want to have that as a tank. All tanks have some form of doing this. For Paladins, it's Judgment of the Just. Toughness, because everyone knows the more armor you have, the better. Sanctuary, which is your crit immune talent, reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6%, which basically means you are crit immune. And reduces all damage taken by 10%, so basically it's kind of equivalent to the Warrior's defensive stance. When you put yourself in defensive stance, you take 10% less damage. And also you gain 3% of your maximum mana whenever you block or dodge a melee attack. So yeah. Hammer of the Righteous, which is your AoE ability for tanking, which is pretty damn sweet. Hits every single target in front of you. No, actually it hits the target in front of you for 42% weapon damage, and hits every single target in 8 yards for 2,557 holy damage, and grants a charge of holy power, which is also pretty damn good. Also regarding holy power, I just remembered that the other day I didn't actually told you the add-on that I used for holy power because I don't use Blizzard's default UI. The add-on is this little neat thing here, which gives me yellow for 1, orange for 2, and red for 3 holy power charges. And the add-on is called Nug Combo Bar. It's a pretty good add-on. It's usually for rogues, but works for paladins as well. Next up we have Wrath of the Lightbringer, 2 out of 2. Lightbringer. Wrath of the Lightbringer, 2 out of 2. Increases the damage of my Crusader Strike and Judgment abilities by 100%. Like I said, I'm trying to squeeze out every inch of damage I can out of this character, so yeah. It also increases the critical chance of Holy Wrath and Hammer of Wrath by 30%, which is pretty damn sweet. 1 out of 2 in Reckoning, just to get a chance to get the proc, because I got like, what? How much block? I got 35% block rating. So yeah, I block a lot, and whenever I block, there's always a chance that I get a Reckoning, which is pretty good. I would like to have 2 out of 2 in here, but I'm already taking the stuff out of so many places, I might as well just have 1 out of 1. It's mostly for the threat, and yeah, it's pretty good talent in my opinion. Shield of the Righteous, obvious, you have to take this if you're a tank. It's your burst threat ability whenever you're having chances keeping threat up. This is where you need to go. Then we got Grand Crusader. When your Crusader Strike or Hammer of the Righteous deals damage to your primary target, they will have a 20% chance to refresh your Avenger's Shield, which is pretty damn useful because Avenger's Shield hits pretty hard. 6057 holy damage and silences your enemies, so it works as an interrupt as well. I personally don't have the shield glyphed, even though for raids it's completely awesome to have it glyphed just for one target to make that additional extra damage. But since I'm tanking mostly heroics, I don't have it glyphed. I'd rather have it hit 3 targets, silence all 3 of them, because I'm going to be the only tank in the instance anyways. So that's that for Grand Crusader. Then you have Vindication, which basically works like the Warrior's Demoralizing Shout. So Crusader Strike and Hammer of the Righteous will reduce the physical damage done by the primary target by 10%. Holy Shield, basically, whenever you use your Shield of the Righteous, Word of Glory, or Inquisition, it will make your shield block an additional 10% damage. So you're usually blocking 30%, you get 10% on top of that. Guarded by the Light increases your Word of Glory by 10%, which is pretty damn sweet, because whenever I happen to have a bad healer or whenever I'm in a tough spot, Word of Glory always saves my ass. And Word of Glory also grants Holy Shield. Didn't it already grant it over here? Yeah. I guess this the Word of Glory only works for Holy Shield if you put this talent up. And also, whenever you overheal yourself with Word of Glory, it also creates a shield with Protective Light, which is pretty damn useful. Divine Guardian, every single tank should have this, even if you're heroic, if you're raid, doesn't matter. This is like a raid wall, it's almost like a raid-wide shield wall. It's pretty damn useful in a lot of situations. Like, say for instance, when you're doing the Headed South achievement, when you're doing the Headed South, or even when you're just doing that particular boss, because there's loads of AoE damage going all over the place, you want to pop Divine Guardian whenever you see that shit is definitely going to hit the fan. Especially if you combine it with, say, Wings and Holy Radiance, it's a real lifesaver. So yeah, this is definitely, I would take this for any protection spec I would make. It's damn sweet. Now, Sacred Duty. Your judgments have a 50% chance of making your next Shield of the Righteous a critical strike. This is pretty self-explanatory. Whenever you have 3 charges of Holy Power and Sacred Duty procs, you pop that shield up and you can go up from 30 to 40k hits depending on the rest of your stats. I'm usually going up from 26 to 33k hits on the Shield of the Righteous, so it's pretty damn sweet. Then we got Shield of the Templar, which reduces the cooldown of your Avenging Wrath by 60 seconds. And Guardian of Ancient Kings by 120 seconds. So the Avenging Wrath is not nearly as important as the Guardian of Ancient Kings, because basically this puts your Guardian of Ancient Kings on a 3-minute cooldown, which is pretty damn sweet. But also the Avenging Wrath is pretty damn sweet as well, for whenever you need to push more threat on top of a target. It's pretty damn good. It will reduce this up to 2 minutes. So yeah, this is definitely one of the good talents to have. And also, on top of all that, whenever you use your Divine Plea, like I'm going to do now, you get 3 Holy Power, which is pretty damn sweet. You can also use this as an emergency move, like let's say you're about to die, the healer is dead, whatever. You can pop Divine Plea and then cancel it. You can cancel it by right-clicking on it, obviously, and then you can pop Word of Glory. And it still gives you the full benefits of healing, so pretty damn sweet. Ardent Defender, obviously, like I've said on on a few videos of mine in Wrath of the Lich King, Ardent Defender was the best possible skill in the whole game for tanking at that time because it was automatic. Now it's actually manual, which I find incredibly awesome because now it actually takes skill to know when to use this, and it's still one of the best cooldowns in my opinion that you can have. But it's not as good as it used to be in Wrath of the Lich King, so I wouldn't exactly say it's the best cooldown ever in whatever, but it's still pretty damn good, so yeah, I always have Ardent Defender as well. Now, on the Retribution side of things, I noticed that a lot of tanks like to take Improved Judgment. This is good to generate threat on targets that are in ranged, but normally your 80% of the times you're going to be wailing on the mobs straight in front of you. I mean, it's very rare for you to actually have to tank something that's ranged. So I personally don't take Improved Judgment. Instead, I'm going to be taking Eye for an Eye. And I know this is kind of a weird choice, but personally, I like it more than Improved Judgment. And also, I do some Protection PvP every now and then, so this is also pretty handy. So it's handy for both tanking and PvP, in my opinion. Basically, what this does is all the magic attacks that are against you have a 40% chance to cost 30% of the damage back. So yeah, it's always some threat that goes back on a target. And normally, even if you need to hit something that's far away from you, you can just throw your shield at it. It's really not that hard, particularly with Grand Crusader, which when you get a proc, you get your Avenger's Shield reflects, so refreshes, so yeah. Also going to go with Crusade, which increases damage of Crusader Strike, Hammer of the Righteous, and Templar's Verdict by 30%, which what really matters to me is the damage Crusader Strike and Hammer of the Righteous. And in addition, it also does some stuff for Holy, which is the damage and healing of Holy Shock by 30%. And 15 seconds after you kill an enemy that wields Experience or Honor, your Holy Light will heal for an additional 300. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. Rule of Law increases the critical effect chance of your Crusader Strike, Hammer of the Righteous, and World of Glory by 15%. Pretty self-explanatory. And here's the reason, at least the main reason, why I don't have 3 out of 3 Divinity and 2 out of 2 Eternal Glory is because I want to have the Pursuit of Justice. Because whenever you're struck by Stun, Fear, or Immobilize PvP, but also certain bosses, you get a charge of Holy Power. And in addition, you get 15% increased movement speed, which is also pretty damn useful. So, yeah, this is my tanking spec. Now, regarding the Glyphs... Oh, this is awesome. This is pretty damn awesome. Why, thank you. My UI is messed up. And like I was saying, in regards to the glyphs that I use for protection, I use the Glyph of Seal of Truth, which gives me 10 expertise, and even with 10 expertise I'm only at 18 currently. And I'm actually using a mace which has a dwarf. It gives me 3 additional raw expertise. This is for the prime glyphs. Then I use Glyph of Hammer of the Righteous, which increases the physical and holy components of the damage for Hammer of the Righteous by 10%. And Glyph of Shield of the Righteous, which increases the damage of Shield of the Righteous by 10%. In regards to the major glyphs, got Glyph of Holy Wrath, which is pretty damn sweet. It stuns elementals and dragonkins besides undeads and demons, so it stuns a whole bunch of mobs and whenever you're tanking, that's always good. Have the Glyph of Aesthetic Crusader, which reduces the mana cost of Crusader Strike. This is particularly useful in situations where you're forced to use Consecration, because just look at this. Consecration. Boosh. Literally 50% of my mana more. It's like 51% of my mana, so yeah. It's a pain in the ass. So whenever I do that, I'm usually struggling for mana for a little bit, so it's a good thing to have Aesthetic Crusader, at least in my opinion. These are subject to change, obviously, but at the moment I think these are pretty damn good. The other one for major glyphs is Glyph of Lay on Hands, which reduces the cooldown of my Lay on Hands spell by 3 minutes. Lay on Hands is obviously a pretty sweet cooldown. Instead of 10 minutes, you get it to 7. You get to use it more often. Pretty self-explanatory. You can disregard the minor ones because they really don't matter for the Paladin. I mean, what can you possibly get? Stuff that reduces your blessings costs and your seal costs, so who gives a crap whatever you put here. I have actually Glyph of Truth, Glyph of Insight, and Glyph of Justice. These two are probably ridiculous because I didn't use any of these. But if you wanted to optimize it to the maximum, I suppose you could put Blessing of Kings in here and Blessing of Might in here. But whatever, I'm not even going to spend 20 gold to do that because it's just pointless. That's it regarding my tanking talents. Now let's go to the holy talents. Now, the holy spec that I'm running is Currently, I just switched it because after the patch, before the patch, I was actually using a spec with Pursuit of Justice, but after the patch, due to the huge mana nerf that we got in Paladins, I decided to go back to a spec that uses Eternal Glory because I can save a lot of mana if I use my Holy Power efficiently and get a few Eternal Glory procs. I can save a lot of mana, so I prefer to have that instead of the 15% increased movement speed. And then obviously I enchant my boots with a minor speed increase thingy just to move a little bit faster. I'm also going to be going for engineering, so eventually I will also get the rocket boots, which I think that will help me move around faster in the battlefield. But anyways, I got Protector of the Innocent, which will heal you whenever you heal someone else. Judgments of the Pure, which every Holy Paladin should have. It's no big deal. Basically increases your casting haste by 9%, so it's pretty damn sweet. You want to judge all the time whenever possible for two reasons. Number one, because it regenerates your mana, and that is actually the most important. Don't think it's more important to judge because you get a haste proc. No, it's more important because you get mana back. The second reason is to get your haste proc, which is why you want to be judging whenever possible and not just when the debuff is, when your haste buff is about to go away. You want to judge whenever possible because it will keep your mana flowing, and trust me, just judge whenever you can. Then we got Clarity of Purpose, which reduces the casting time of Holy Light and Divine Light by 0.5 seconds. I only have 1 point in Last Word because, well, basically, I don't really think this talent is worth 2 points to heal someone with Word of Glory when they're below 35% health. I mean, it's something that will only happen every so often, so yeah. It's amazing to have 2 points on this talent for the Chimeran fight, I'll tell you that much, but apart from that, 1 point is enough in my opinion. Divine Favor, obviously everybody should be taking this. This is one of the best combos you can get when you're using Holy Radiance. It will increase your spell casting haste by 20% and critical chance by 20%. So if you pop this together with Holy Radiance, you should expect to see some big numbers. And if you're really in a bind for AoE healing, you can pop this, Holy Radiance, and Avenging Wrath. So yeah, you get a pretty good boost out of that. Then we have Infusion of Light, which increases critical effect of your Holy Shock by 10%, and your Holy Shock crits reduce the casting time of your next Holy Light or Divine Light. So yeah, this is pretty much a no-brainer. Daybreak. Flash of Light, Holy Light, and Divine Light have a 20% chance to make your next Holy Shock not trigger a cooldown. This is pretty damn sweet. Double Holy Shock to your face. You'll also get 2 charges of Holy Power, which can immediately be converted into Word of Glory, which if it happens to proc, it's a double Word of Glory. So you can get 2 Holy Shock procs with a double Word of Glory, and if the other thing procs the Infusion of Light, you can also get like Divine Light almost instant. So yeah, it's pretty damn sweet. I use Daybreak. Then you get Enlightened Judgments, which will grant you hit rating, but that doesn't really matter all that much. What matters is that your judgment will heal you, as so it stacks up with Protector of the Innocent, and it increases the range of your judgment. And yeah, the hit rating also matters to make sure that you're able to hit with your judgments. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Yeah, you have to be able to hit with your judgments in order to get every single effect, every single benefit from judging. And also, by having all this hit rating, what this also allows you is, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but in your Seal of Insight, whenever you hit a boss, just by having Seal of Insight up, you will get healed whenever you hit a boss, even though that doesn't matter that much. But what matters is that there's a chance that you can restore 4% of your base mana. So if you actually melee a boss, which you can, because I personally as Holy have... Well, this isn't really my Holy gear, but I have like 17% Holy... I have 17% hit when I'm Holy Spec, so it's pretty damn sweet. Yeah, so it increases the range of your judgments, it gives you the chance you need to hit the boss, and also gives you melee hits so that you can hit the boss and get mana back. Extremely useful in Chimeran. In Chimeran I also use Crusader Strike to get Holy Power to make more instant Word of Glories, but I'm just crazy like that. Then you have Beacon of Light, pretty much self-explanatory. You put it on the main tank, you heal everyone else, and your main tank receives heals from the Beacon of Light. Then you have the Speed of Light, which gives you 3% spell haste and reduces the cooldown of your Holy Radiance by 30 seconds, putting it down to 30-second cooldown for your main AoE heal. And it also increases your movement speed by 6% for 4 seconds. You guys might be looking at that, yeah, that doesn't really matter. Well, in one of our raids, that thing actually saved my ass from dying in the final phase of a boss, because the tank died, I had some ads coming onto me, and I popped Holy Radiance to heal everyone up, and I was also able to outrun the ads, and they finished off the boss before the ads got to me, so yeah, it's pretty damn sweet. Sacred Cleansing is pretty self-explanatory. Your cleanse also dispels one magic effect. Pretty damn sweet. Conviction gives you a 3% bonus to damage and healing for 15 seconds after causing a critical effect from a weapon swing spell or ability. This stacks up to 3 times. Like I said, you're going to be judging a whole lot, and if you happen to be meleeing a boss, you're also going to be meleeing a lot. And this will stack up to 9% bonus to your damage and healing. Obviously you only care about the healing part, but whatever comes your way is always good. Next up we have Paragon of Virtue, which reduces the cooldown of Divine Protection by 20 seconds. Doesn't really matter all that much, even though Divine Protection is pretty damn useful for healers whenever you're taking AoE damage or some other form of damage. You can always pop that up. Don't forget that. You have some tanking talents, don't neglect to use them. It's pretty damn sweet. Also, as a Paladin, you now have Rebuke, even as a healer, so make sure to make use of that as well whenever you can. Trust me, it's awesome. And apart from that, it also reduces the cooldown on your Hand of Sacrifice by 30 seconds, putting it up to 1 minute, I believe. I don't know by head. And Avenging Wrath by 60 seconds, which puts it on a 2-minute cooldown, which is, once again, pretty damn sweet. I don't use Aura Mastery because I feel it's this really situational talent, in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree, because like I said, I'm not the most experienced healer in the world. I've only started healing about maybe a month and a half now. So yeah, I personally don't like Aura Mastery all that much. I haven't really used it. Now, apart from that, we also get Tower of Radiance, which basically healing the target of your Beacon of Light with Flash of Light or Divine Light has a 100% chance of generating a charge of Holy Power. So this is pretty damn useful whenever the main tank is tanking a whole bunch of damage and you're healing him with Divine Lights or even Flash of Lights if he's about to die. You will also get Holy Power to push up some Word of Glories or even some Light of Dawn. So Light of Dawn is something that I usually call, it's the Boogie Lights heal. So yeah, basically you put up a frontal cone that will heal the 5 most injured targets in your party. In my case, it's actually the 6 most injured targets, because I have the Glyph, which I will be showing you in a few minutes. So apart from that, we also have Divinity, which increases all healing done by you and all healing effects on you, but you really only care about this part that says all healing done by you by 6%, which is pretty damn sweet. And like I said, since the patch, I've respec into Eternal Glory, which basically gives your Word of Glory a 30% chance not to consume Holy Powers, so you can do double Holy Glories every now and then, which, trust me, it is sweet in my opinion. I may be wrong, leave me some feedback. Also, we're going to go for Crusade because it increases damage and healing of Holy Shock by 30%, which is pretty damn sweet. And 15 seconds after you kill an enemy that heals experience or honor, you get 300% from Holy Light, even though you're probably not going to be killing anyone as a healer. But if you happen to kill something with one of your judgments by randomness or even with a Hammer of Wrath or whatever, it's pretty damn sweet to get that 300%. But your main reason to get this is the healing of Holy Shock by 30%. And then I just have 2 out of 2 in Improved Judgment, just to be able to be judged from further away. Like I said, as a tank you really don't need it, but as a healer it's pretty damn good to be able to judge as far away as possible. Now, regarding the glyphs for the healer. So on the prime glyphs I have the Glyph of Seal of Insight, which means while the Seal of Insight is active, which is the seal I always use when I'm healing, my healing spells are increased by 5%. Then we have the Glyph of Holy Shock, which increases the critical effect chance of your Holy Shock by 5%. And the Glyph of Word of Glory, which increases the healing done by Word of Glory by 10%. These might not be the most effective. Let me know if you do not agree, and I will try to defend myself or kill myself. So on the major ones, I have the Glyph of Light of Dawn, which will make my Light of Dawn effect one additional target, totaling up to 6, I believe. Then we have the Glyph of Lay on Hands. This actually might be getting replaced soon for something else. I know that I was thinking about something, but still haven't made up my mind. Might have been this Glyph of Cleansing, which is pretty damn sweet since cleansing costs a whole bunch. Yeah, but Glyph of Lay on Hands is probably getting replaced. Glyph of Beacon of Light. Your Beacon of Light costs no mana because in certain fights where you're the only Paladin, it really helps if you can switch your Beacon of Light and not have to worry about the mana it costs or not. I know that it's only 1,000 mana or 1,000 something mana, but trust me, it's pretty damn sweet. And now that we get to the minor glyphs, it's like I said, it's bullshit. You don't really have to pay attention, but these are actually optimized to the max, which would be Glyph of Insight, which is the seal I use, and Glyph of the Both Blessings that I have to give. So, yeah. And that's it regarding my specs and glyphs. I hope this answers a few questions of the people that have been asking me about it. And I will see you guys on the next video right here on TGN World of Warcraft. Whew, damn, this was exhausting to speak like this. So, see you guys on the next one.